'Cause baby, now we got bad blood. You know it used to be mad love. So take a look what you've done. 'Cause baby, now we got bad blood.
We had the distinct privilege of meeting with Andy Boehm and Matthew Powell, who are applying for the image critique professor position at IPFW. We sat down with our two technologists, Andy Boehm and Matthew Powell, to discuss their qualifications for this new position in image critique.
Oh, hey man.
Oh, Andy.
Hey, I didn't know procedure professors were applying for this job. So, how did you hear about the job?
Good evening, Mr. Powell. It's nice to see you. Feel free, have a seat.
Thank you.
We'll get this interview started today. Mr. Powell, what qualifies you as a technologist to be the professor for this image critique class?
Well, you could say I'm the critiqueiest tech this side of the Mississippi.
Now, do you care to expand on that a little bit?
Yes. Well, my dad is a radiologist. No big deal. At Parkview. So I got that going for me.
All right.
Every night at dinner, I'll never forget. He would sit us down. He would sit us down at the dinner table and be like, "What's this, Matt?" And I would say, "I don't know."
All right. Now, you talked about your father's credentials. Can you maybe expand more on your credentials for this position?
Well, I taught imaging procedures 1 and 2 for my students. They seemed to really like it. I also taught patient care advanced. I put emphasis on the advanced because your other clientele doesn't have the qualifications that I do.
So, you mentioned that you taught advanced patient care as well as imaging procedures 1 and 2. What kind of impact have you made on your students?
Well, you could say that I taught them everything they know. So when you see Luke, Logan, and Zach in clinic doing absolutely phenomenal procedures, you could say I had a part of that. And you can take that to the bank.
Now, what truly separates you from the other applicants for this image critiquing class?
Well, I still see images almost daily, images that I take. That separates me from the other clientele. I see image critique on the reg list. On the reg list. I Googled it. It is a word. It is. I'll need to tell my students that one. They'll like that one. Just saying. I'm just saying.
You've performed well in the interview. We would like to take you to the second step of the process where we would have you teaching a class about some image critique. So we will be in contact with you in the future, all right?
Okay.
So, Al, thank you very much.
Thank you for this opportunity. Good luck, Andy. I love my students.
Hello, nice to meet you, Mr. Bain.
Thank you.
Go ahead and have a seat. We'll get the interview started today. So, Mr. Bain, what qualifies you for this image critique position?
Well, I taught critique last year. My students at Rovo. Actually, I have my teacher's floor here, and here's a syllabus.
Okay.
Everything's in there.
Could you expand on your qualifications for this position for me?
Sure. I've been a tech longer than most of your applicants. I worked at Parkview Regional Medical Center. I was a very well liked tech there. They threw a party for me when I decided to go in full time into teaching.
All right, speaking of that party that you had, I did a little bit of research. I noticed that you were wearing a Nickelback shirt in the picture they posted.
I did. I think Nickelback's a really great band.
Now, we heard from other applicants that you taught patient care instead of advanced patient care. Do you care to comment on that?
Yeah, I think I know who you're talking about. I might have only taught introduction to patient care. However, look at my beard. No, I'm just kidding. I taught the foundation, but I believe by the student's second year, they should already know most of the patient care.
We know you already have experience in teaching your imaging and critique class, but the second part of the process is to actually watch you perform in your class, or teach your class. So the next part will be, we'll call you and we'll get everything set up.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, it was nice to meet you, Mr.
Thank
Bain.
you, thank you.
As a second part of the applicant's process, they will be teaching an image critique class. For this section, we will have them teaching a class on the pelvis, the hip, and knee projections.
Okay. You guys ready? Lauren, the lights. Okay. All right. So here we have an AP knee. Might have taught you how to do this, how to set it up, but I'm going to teach you a little better. So just a refresher: is the patient supine or prone? Supine. Good. Very good. Okay. We'll talk about the CR angle. For the CR angle, are we going to angle the tube of the patient's hips are less than 18 centimeters? Yes, yes, we are. Very good. Collar or cephalic? Collar. Good. Okay. What if their hips are 19 to 24 centimeters? Perpendicular. Yep. Good. And then if they're a big patient, 25 centimeters or more. Cephalic? Did I hear cephalic? Okay, good. Yep, that's good. Yep, and just as a refresher, SID is 40 inches, and we're going to center half an inch inferior to the apex of the toe, and that'll ensure that you get everything in there. Also, don't be afraid to collimate side to side. Okay, so let's critique an AP knee. So on an AP knee, ideally we want to see the medial and lateral femoral condyles, or epicondyles rather, in profile, which we will see here, here. And then also we want to see the condyles, we want to make sure they're symmetrical. So they should be about the same. Okay. And then we want to also see the tibia is going to superimpose half of the fibula head. Let's say fibula or fibula? Okay, that's what I thought. So right about there. Okay. Now when it comes to the joint space, we want to make sure that's open. This AP knee, everything is pretty good. They have pretty good collimation on both sides here. However, what do we think about this marker placement? The placement's good, however, they should use their own marker. Yep, they really need to use their own. All right, let's move on. So let's say this is supposed to be an AP knee. What do we have going on here? Oh, I'm sorry, you guys probably can't see that from our circles. Let me just erase a little bit here. There we go. This mouse pad is pretty tricky. I'm talking about this area right about there. So do we have an internal or external rotation? Very good, internal, yes. How can we tell? Well, you can tell the fibula head right here is moving away from the tibia. Also, we can tell from the patella, it's moving towards the medial direction. What else? What else? Yes, the medial condyle is larger. Let's try to really point that out. Medial condyle is larger than the lateral. Yes. I'm sorry, I draw like a child. Okay, so now that we covered the AP knee, let's move on to the lateral knee. So, a couple things to remember on the lateral knee. Are we angling? Yes, we are. About how many degrees? Did I hear 5 to 7? Okay, that's what I thought. So Matt did teach you guys something apparently. That's good. Okay, so moving on. We also want to angle the knee about how many degrees? 30. Yep. Good. Okay, and again, a couple things to remember. We want a 40-inch SID. Oh, I'm sorry, it doesn't look like an S. That's an S. Yep, there we go. That's an S. And then also, remember tight collimation. This looks like it's pretty good here. Yep, and we want that all collimated out. There we go. A couple marker placement. I mean that's questionable. We would prefer to use our markers, obviously. Okay, let's move on. So how do we feel about this lateral? I don't know. I think it's rotated. What do you guys think? It is rotated, yep. And how do we tell? Well, we can tell by the medial condyle here. It is located posteriorly to the lateral. And how do we know that's the medial? Well, because it's closer to the tube, so it's going to be more magnified. Yep, good. And then another thing we can tell, we have increased superimposition of the fibula and tibia right here. And then what's another thing that's wrong with this image? Well, the knee is at 30 degrees. Gotta get that knee at 30 degrees. And then they also forgot their marker. I mean, who knows what leg this is? I don't know if it's the right or left. Probably left. I don't know. It could be right. I don't know. The book said this right. Alright, let's move on. Okay, so moving on, we have a cross table lateral knee here. Now remember on cross table lateral knee, we are shooting lateral to medial. On a regular lateral knee, we'll be shooting medial to lateral. So with that said, with the medial lateral knee, we would want to see a cephalic angle. Cephalic towards the head. Yeah, I really do draw like a child, I'm sorry. Anyway, so on the lateral medial, we are doing a caudal angle. C for caudal. Okay. Now another thing we can tell that this is rotated is we see the lateral condyle right here. And it's located posterior to the medial. Right there. Also, we see increased superimposition of the fibula and tibia. Let's see what I said. That got in the way of my arrow. Let's go back to the pen. You know what? Let's go highlighter. So yeah, superimposition right there. What else could they have done better? Yes? Yeah, they could have used a real marker with an arrow. Radiologists like to see that. Okay, so here we have an AP pelvis. Just as a review, we want a 40-inch SID, 40 inches right there. And where are we centering for this? Yep, we're centering halfway in between ASIS's. I always think of the ACEs because they're just a great high school. And then halfway between the ASIS's and the pubic symphysis, which is right there, or what I like to call the Larry zone. So we want to make sure right there is the middle. Now, the text could have done a little better on this image. The lesser trochanters, we do not want to see them in profile. That is bad. So they get a frowny face. And then, also, to get rid of that, we would internally rotate the legs 15 to 20 degrees, which would bring these greater trochanters and the profile laterally. And what else could I have done? I don't know. Probably the marker. We want to make that sure that's ours. We don't want to use implanted markers. Okay, so here we have a little suboptimal pelvis, AP pelvis here. They did use the right marker, which is good. That's what we want to see. As far as rotation, again, they have the... Was that a Nickelback ringtone?
Yeah, sorry.
I like that. We can jam after class, but right now we're in the middle of critiquing. So just put that away. Thanks.
Yep.
Okay, so, oh man, this got me all flustered now. Nickelback brings me back. So anyway, lesser trocaners. Okay, you now want to see these. Yeah, that's a frowny face. And then again, if you rotate the legs in 15 to 20 degrees, these are going to be in profile, the greater trocaners. That's what radiologists like to see. Rotation, it looks pretty good. We're in line there. And then also, we can tell rotation that we're not rotated because the pelvic brim here is superimposing the ischial spine. You just have to use your imagination for that one. I can't really draw that. But other than that, looks pretty good. Would you guys repeat this? I don't know. That's something you guys have to figure out in about 3 weeks. Oh, that's the AP hip. I believe the critiquiest tech is going to attempt to teach you guys a critique on the AP hip. Yeah. I'm not sure how he's going to do that considering he's a procedures professor, but good luck to him. If you guys need me though, if you need my help, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram. My handle is @CritiqueMaster Nickelback Bam. I'm also available in my office anytime. So Luke, if you need to come cry on my shoulder about the brows, man, #Factory of Sadness, I got you. Other than that, we have a quiz next week. Yes.
Is it open book?
Do you want it to be?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll make it open book.
Andy, you're the best.
Thank you, I am, thanks. Okay, other than that, we're all finished. Diego, you can wake up now, we're finished. If you want to know what went on, you can just follow my Twitter feed. I live tweeted all of this, so you'll be covered. Other than that, see you guys next week. Bang rules.
Oh, second years. Ready to talk critique? So, how's it going? Probably surprised to see me. Because Andy was in here teaching. And now you're stuck with me again. Thank you. I love me too. What is all this scribbles? Andy. Same rules. All right, class. We're going to talk about the AP hip. Who's ready to get critiquey? If you follow me, I'll teach you how to be the critiquiest. Let's jump right into it. We'll just run right through this because you guys got to know this. You have to draw a line from the ASIS to the symphysis pubis. At the midpoint, move distal perpendicular either 1.5 inches from the joint or 2.5 inches femoral neck. Also, in this picture, I mean, you're supposed to collimate to about 1/2 inch of the skin line. For me, I might have collimated a little bit more, but that's just coming from me, a procedures expert. Take a second look, see if there's any orthopedic hardware. At some spots, they might want you to open that up a little bit. Shield when appropriate, but be aware of pelvic fractures. So let's just take a look at this image real quick. What do you guys think? Well, when I look at this, I see the lesser. No, not omentum, trochanter, greater trochanter. So we want this turned in. We want it turned in. How do we get it there? 20-degree pigeon toes. Do-si-do. Okay, so now that we talked about that, again, 40-inch SID. Just the biggest thing on these projections is you gotta make sure they're, internally rotated feet. That's basically the gist, as they would say, of the hip. Is there any questions? Is this optimal? I don't see the marker. So that's about where we want the marker. Okay. So let's look at this picture. What do you guys think? Not that great. Needs a little more internal rotation. If we're looking right there. Lesser trochanter, we can see it. You don't want that. Probably could have brought both the IR and the CR down just to get the hip. But the biggest thing on this is probably just the rotation. So just keep that in mind. Again, they implanted a marker. We want to see your markers there. Just remember that. So I was about to put my initials just to show you, but I would never take a picture like this. Now on to the hippity hoppity frog leg. So in real terms, here's the AP oblique hip. Rotation is detected in the same way as an AP hip projection. Accurate femur positioning, flex the knee until the femur is angled 60 to 70 degrees with the table. Poor distal femur positioning, as the femur is raised, the greater trochanter moves from lateral to posterior to medial. So on these, from my personal experience for you guys, I feel it's best to use those angled sponges that we have. I know they clean up great, but make sure you use them. You want to wipe them down, then you take it to town. I'm feeling cheesy today. Just remember, guys, when you use the sponges, like I taught you in advanced patient care, make sure you wipe them down real good, because we want to be advanced techs here. If the hip and knee are underflexed, the greater trochanter will be visualized laterally. If the hip and knee are overflexed, the greater trochanter will be visualized medially. Okay. So looking at this picture, everything looks fine. You can see the head, the neck, acetabulum, the ala, pelvic brim. Everything looks fine here. Okay. Accurate leg positioning. After flexing the leg 60 to 70 degrees, abduct the femur 45 degrees. If the leg is under abducted, the femoral neck is not foreshortened, and the greater and lesser trochanters are at the same level. Okay. If the leg is over abducted, the greater trochanter is at the same level as the femoral head with femoral neck on end. So we'll go through some other pictures through here. Okay, so here you can see this picture. It's a decent image. Oh, and if you look down there at the left, they shielded. It's a man. So you just need to make sure, like I taught you in procedures, in advanced patient care, you need to shield. So that was a good move on their part. KAD, good job. Okay. So we'll look at some worse images, bad images. Now this is a cross table. Now who can tell me how to center on the cross table? Anybody? Anybody? Femoral neck's at the center of the image. Okay? Acetabulum, greater lesser trochanters, femoral head and neck, and ischial tuberosity are included. So here, femoral head. Okay. Tight collimation. Tight. Now here's our next picture.
I have a question, Mr.
Yes.
Powell. Why is it that the greater trochanter is posterior in this picture? Is there something wrong with it?
I don't know. I don't know. I can find that out for you though. Okay, so when we look at this one, we can tell it's not the best image, but just looking at it, the extralateral hip, if the angle between the tube and the femur is too great, so that means far away from the affected leg, the proximal greatotrochanter is superimposed by the femoral neck and proximal to the lesser. Okay. If the angle is too small or too close to the affected leg, the greatotrochanter is distal to the lesser trochanter, which is not really likely to happen, so you'll probably see the first one more in your clinical situations. Okay. All right. And that's all I have for you today, class. I know you're gonna miss me. You know, I miss me too, you know, if I was you, but gotta go over to TGI Friday, just get some appies. Oh, they don't have appies there, do they? I'm gonna go talk to Andy, get in his head a little bit. If you guys have any questions for me, I'm always in my office. I'm always willing to help you guys. Just always come by. That's just who I am, because I like you guys. Alyssa, I see you back there. Stay off the reefer. Hey guys, I'll leave now. Remember, if you ever need to find me, I'm either in my office or TGI Fridays. I love those appies. That little, what are those little bits called? Mott's. 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 Okay, class. I'm gonna leave you now. Okay. Bang Jules. How rules?
All right, so now that we've got done with the teaching portion, we'd just like to look at some images that you've taken in the past, and would like to critique some of these images. You can critique this right side here for the hip.
Okay. Well, the first thing I realize is, if we're just looking at the hip, the lesser trochanter, you can see it. That's what I look to first. So you have to internally rotate the leg a little bit more, get that out of the picture, superimposed over the femur, get the greater trochanter out a little bit more. That's the number one thing I realize. Collimation, of course, maybe in this picture they were trying to get more of the pelvis, but if we're just talking about the hip, that's the number one thing.
Okay.
I can't believe I took that picture.
All right, now we also have this
I don't think I did. I think Andy did.
is an oblique. All right, so we have an oblique picture here.
Okay.
I'd like you to critique that one for us, if you would.
Honestly, just looking at it, it looks perfect. I can't see anything quite wrong with it. Does that surprise me? Not really. You know, I would say my greatest weakness is my strength, because I only look at good pictures. What can I say? That being said, I'm the most qualified for this position. I know what a good picture is, I know how to take them, and I know how to make them, baby.
All right, Mr. Boehm, after seeing your teaching style, we'd like you to critique some of your own images now.
Okay. This is an AP knee I took last week. Looks pretty good. I'm not too surprised. We can see the fibula is superimposed by the tibia here, about halfway, about half of the head. The collimation, I admit, is a little wide. Could have collimated a little bit more. However, the patient told me they had some orthopedic hardware in here, so I wanted to make sure that I got all of it.
Right.
I use my own marker, as you can see. So, pretty good image.
All right. All right, now we have a lateral image for you to look at.
Okay. Again, it's a pretty good image. We see the superimposition here. The leg is bent, maybe bent a little bit more than 30 degrees, but it's okay. We don't see the medial or lateral epicondyle more posterior than the other, so their patella here is perpendicular to the IR. It's pretty good. I do see a little soft tissue there. I think one of the students told me how Matt Powell told him to collimate. So, I mean, I tried it. It obviously didn't work, but pretty good image.
Finally, we have a rather peculiar picture that we obtained from you. Seemed to be a strange patient artifact. Could you kind of delve into that a little bit more for us?
Yeah, sure. Not sure how you found this image, to be honest. That is a penile piercing. Not something personally I would do as a professional, but to each their own.
Now, through these interview processes, we have gotten to see the strengths and weaknesses of both Matthew Powell and Andy Bain. Although there was some heat thrown between the two, IPFW is very glad and very lucky to have both of them in their respective positions. Matthew and Andy next semester will be teaching image critique together.
Matt, I heard you did the job.
I might have.
So did I.
Really?
I did.
TGI Fridays?
Let's go.
Freeze frame!